So far we've added dimensions manually, but there is a tool in SolidWorks which is called Autodimension, and you can use it to add dimensions automatically in a drawing view. So here I have, well, three different views. We have the front view, the top view, and the isometric view. Of course, not in isometric, we'll add the dimensions in these two views. So here I will start with the top view and I'll add the dimensions here. And for that, I'll select Smart Dimension. Now in the Smart Dimension option, we have two tabs, Dim Expert and Auto Dimension. In this case, I'll select Auto Dimension. All right, now here you can select the entities where you just want to add the dimension. Select all entities in view and this will select everything in your drawing view. You can also click on selected entities and then select a specific area or specific things which you want to include for dimensioning. It will exclude everything else. Now this is not something which we want. I want to include everything in the view, so I'll just select all entities in view. And now this entire view is selected. Now with this view selected, SolidWorks will automatically select the scheme of dimensioning and the edges, but you can change that as well. For now, the scheme which is selected is baseline, which means all the dimensions will start from one selected baseline, and that baseline is edge 1 for horizontal dimension. Now in this case, let me change it to chain, and now every dimension will be added. The horizontal one will be added in the chain scheme. So the first dimension will be added, then the second one will follow it, and then third and fourth and so on. Maybe I'll just change it back to baseline. Now all the dimensions will start from one single baseline, and that's for horizontal dimensions. Now the edge 1 is selected, but if you want to change it, if you want to use any specific edge, then you can select it and just select your own edge in your drawing. In this case, I think edge 1 which is selected is quite right, so I'm not going to change it. Then we have the dimension placement. So where do you want to place these dimensions? The horizontal one. So you can place it above the view or below the view. I'll keep below view selected because we have plenty of room here, and SolidWorks will actually add all the remaining dimensions above the view as well. So there are several other kind of dimensions other than baseline that it may end up adding. So we'll leave some room here. Then we have vertical dimensions. So vertical dimensions, again, you can select this scheme, chain, baseline, or even ordinate. And ordinate is, by the way, available here as well. So you can here also select ordinate. And when you select ordinate, it will start all the dimensions from one origin. And from there, it will add dimensions with respect to that point. It is kind of like baseline, but instead of adding the starting and end points, it will just add one single line. All right, so here it is also baseline is selected, edge 2 is selected, and I'm not going to change this. I'll keep the default edge 2 selected. Now the placement, we want to place it on right side of the view because we have plenty of room here. So the vertical dimension will be added on this side. And now once you're set with all these settings, click apply. And here we are, we've got the dimensions. So as you can see, we have the horizontal dimension added below the view. We have the vertical dimension added on the right side, and we have some other dimensions added here because we had room in this drawing. So with that, I'll just click OK. And now let's fix this dimensioning. Now, although it is added and it may look kind of okay, but still, as you can see, there are several overlapping dimensions. The gap is not right. It's going just beyond the sheet. So we need to fix it. Now to fix it, just select all the dimensions. In this case, I will select all of these dimensions here, the vertical one. And now when you select the dimensions, I'll just do that one more time. This flyout will show up. Just select it and now select auto arrange. This will automatically arrange your dimension. Not only that, if the spacing is not right, you can click here to space all the dimensions evenly. Now there is hardly any difference when I clicked it because it is already evenly spaced, but now let's select the same option for this one. So here also you can see they are kind of overlapping. This is going beyond the sheet, so it needs a reset. So I'll select all of these horizontal dimensions and the flyout, and I'll select this option, auto arrange. That's arranged, but the gap, as you can see, is not right for all these dimensions. So I'll just select this space evenly option. Now it is properly spaced. Click outside and done. So just a few clicks are required to kind of fix this dimensioning. Now, if you don't want any dimension in this list, you can select it and delete it. Also here we have some dimensions that we can fix. So once again, I'll just select it all and I'll control select this one. And now once again, we have the flyout, evenly space it like so. All right, here we are. Now you can manually move these dimensions around if you have room in your drawing. So there we are. And now this is auto dimensioning. So as you can see, without starting from scratch, we managed to add these dimensions in a very clean way. Now, these dimensions are driven dimension, which means changing these dimensions won't change your drawing. So if I double click it, it won't make anything here. It won't let you change anything here. But if you want to change the value of these dimensions, you can still select it, click on override value and add a new value here. So this is the default value. You can add a new, but that's not going to change your actual part. It will just show a new dimension here. And I won't recommend that. Try to use whatever the actual part dimension is in your drafting environment as well. Now let's consider this situation. Here we have several features in the drawing, and if you try auto dimensioning this one, the result will be, well, not that good, I would say. So I'll go to auto dimension, I'll keep the defaults, I'll check the view and apply. And there we are. Now we have several dimensions, and it is really hard to manage all of these dimensions. So in this case, it is better to add the dimensions manually yourself rather than just using auto dimension. So I'll just press Ctrl Z and I'll get back to this. So in a nutshell, if you have small views with less details, you can use auto dimensioning. But if you have views with several details, try adding the dimensions manually, at least for the features that are repeating like this one. You can add just one single hole and that's going to add the dimension for every single one of these. But for auto dimensioning, if you try that, it may end up adding the dimension for every single one of these features, which may or may not be required. And that's auto dimensioning.